white paper has been produced from within the Navy, and it is called From the Sea. The symbol of American commitment from the sea is behind us. A symbol that follows a long line of distinguished predecessors in the form of the LPD and the LHA classes. A symbol which shows a commitment to stability, the holy grail for this world of ours that is so uncertain at this moment.
USS Essex is the second WASP-class amphibious assault ship, a modified version of the LHA amphibious assault ship. The fifth ship in U.S. naval history to be named Essex. Her proud lineage includes the famous fighting frigate of 1799, to the infamous aircraft carrier that saw action in World War II and the Korean conflict. Essex began fabrication July 11, 1988, with her keel authenticated by U.S. Marine Corps General Alfred M. Gray March 20, 1989. She was launched January 4, 1991. The ship was christened March 16, 1991 by Mrs. Lynn Cheney, wife of Secretary of Defense Dick Cheney. Essex was accepted by the U.S. Navy July 10, 1992. Prior to her September 1992 sail away from Ingalls Shipbuilding in Pascagoula, Mississippi, the crew would undergo extensive training to familiarize themselves with their ship. Entering the latter phase of the workup period in Pascagoula, Essex was preparing for her light-off examination when Hurricane Andrew tore across the southern tip of Florida and into the Gulf of Mexico. To avoid a possible meeting ashore, Essex lit off her engineering spaces and steamed into the Gulf of Mexico August 24th. This emergency sortie granted Essex special status, commissioned without ceremony. After returning to Pascagoula August 27th, Essex completed her light-off examination with flying colors. One matter at hand was the onloading of over 200 privately owned cars, trucks, and motorcycles. In the ship's first test of cargo loading capability, the task was completed in less than 4 hours. On September 8, 1992, Essex pulled up her brow for the last time at Ingalls. With shipyard employees looking on, Essex steamed down the Pascagoula River and into the Gulf of Mexico to begin her historic transit to San Diego via the Panama Canal. The next 2 days were the beginning of a series of firsts for the ship as it held its first military flight operations. A U.S. Marine Corps UH-1N Huey helicopter received the honor as the first helicopter to land on Essex flight deck. Later, AH-1J Cobra gunships entered the flight pattern and continued to conduct flight deck landings. Between the two Hueys and the two Cobras, 50 flight deck landings were conducted. The following day, Essex was prepared to receive the primary vehicle in her amphibious assault operations package. 3 landing craft air cushion vehicles, or LCACs, from Panama City, Florida, became the first vehicles to enter Essex well deck for their transit to Assault Craft Unit 5 at Camp Pendleton, California. Shortly after 10 a.m. that morning, Essex turned south and headed toward Panama. Essex arrived at Cristobal, Panama, September 14th. In Pascagoula, all but a few of the ship's external catwalks were removed to better fit the ship through the canal. The remainder of the external catwalk sections were removed that afternoon, as the crew, civilian contractors, and tigers, male guests of ship's crew members, prepared for the historic transit through the canal. Shortly before 7 a.m., September 15th, Essex began her approach to the Panama Canal's Gatun locks. The crew was amazed at the size of the gates, tropical scenery, and the vastness of Gatun Lake. Panamanian citizens marveled in awe at the size of the ship and got a few souvenirs in return. Once through the Gatun locks, the crew took the opportunity to take in the sights Gatun Lake had to offer. Essex later docked at Balboa, Panama, a short distance from the Bridge of the Americas, to take on stores and fuel. Shortly after getting underway from Balboa, Essex sailed toward the equator to rid the ship of pollywogs in the time-honored ritual performed by King Neptune's royal trusty shellbacks.
Remember, sorrow and woe be to those who first spoke in light of majestic manner of the ceremony of His Royal Majesty, the ruler of the seven seas, or of his queen Aphrodite, or the little royal members of his supreme court. So beware, 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 law, beware.
A pollywog is a sailor who has never crossed the equator. A shellback is one who has. unique situation on board Essex was that 3/4 of the crew were WOGs. And before the day of reckoning, a WOG rebellion resulted. After the ship was cleansed of polywogs, Essex began her trek up the Pacific coast to her September 26th arrival at Naval Station San Diego. One day prior to entering port, the LCACs of ACU-5 were offloaded off the shores of Camp Pendleton, California.
Program stands as an example of the kind of efficiencies that can be gained when an important program that is mature and ongoing is allowed to proceed uninterrupted. And we at Litton Industries are committed to do all that is necessary to assure that the follow ships in this class are built on time and again for the least possible cost to the taxpayers. To Captain Berg, on behalf of the men and women who built your ship, we wish you and your crew the safest of voyage as you take up your mission in the greatest fleet in the world. Thank you very much.
There is no doubt in my mind, as this crew of sailors and Marines, the naval team, breathes life into this ship with this hallowed tradition of commissioning, America's commitment will be met in a future in which, inescapably, we find ourselves, although smaller as an armed force, technically more capable of tapping into the space attributes which we have, capable of providing precision command, control, and communications, capable of meeting the challenges of this changing world. My prayer and my wish for the crew and the captain of Essex is that you will be always faithful to country, to the naval service, to Essex, and to your shipmates. Semper Fidelis. God bless.
On behalf of the sailors and Marines who will serve aboard Essex in the coming years, I salute the entire Essex shipbuilding team. I also salute the first crew, the plank owners, who have already established a record of accomplishment and done so with a special style that makes a great ship. We should recall that Essex superbly met her first operational challenge before she was officially certified for operations, as she sortied from Pascagoula to escape the path of Hurricane Andrew. My staff was giving even odds that Captain Byrd would just keep going, sneak through the Panama Canal, and come on home to San Diego. However, she returned to Pascagoula, subsequently completed her light-off examination with outstanding results. Welcome to the Pacific Fleet, shipmates.
I'm especially proud to be with the commissioning crew of plank holders who are about to bring this superb warship to life before your eyes. We are indeed fortunate to have a distinguished public servant, an influential member of the President's leadership team, as sponsor of the Essex. I'd like to thank Mrs. Lynn Cheney for playing such an important and lasting role in the life of this superb warship, which is clearly destined to serve at the heart of our naval service. Lynn, thank you for sponsoring Essex.
So much has happened since the day General Al Gray authenticated the keel lane. The world was fundamentally different then. The Berlin Wall was up, the Warsaw Pact was conducting maneuvers, and the Soviet fleet was deployed from Cameron Bay to the North Atlantic. Today, in the few years that it took to build this impressive ship, all that has changed. But what has not changed is America's need to possess and project power to every corner of the globe. The Essex will be one of the most potent assets we have to fill that need. It will serve as a symbol of American commitment and leadership wherever she sails. That need exists because no matter how impressive the changes in the past few years, the ones we may face in the years ahead are likely to be even more crucial. The Essex will help ensure that we are prepared to meet that future. This ship carries on it the best in technology that we can provide: Harrier jet aircraft, attack helicopters, troop helicopters, LCACs, and all the rest. These WASP-class ships are a significant addition to our amphibious assault capabilities. The Essex will be operated by the best-trained, brightest military force we've ever seen. Just look at the ship's company assembled with us today. There's no question this crew can do anything we ask of it. The crew is the heart of any vessel, and I know the heart of this ship is strong. I hope this Essex and its crew never see combat on this ocean or any other. But if this ship and its crew do see combat, I have no doubt about the outcome. No group of Americans has given more to this nation than you. No group has higher ideals of service and patriotism. America trusts the safekeeping of the nation to you. I have confidence in your dedication and talent, and I am proud of all of you. I want to say a special word to the families of these young sailors and Marines. We understand the special burdens you bear when your loved ones are at sea. This nation owes you its deepest gratitude and admiration for all that you do for all of us. This ship enters our fleet as a worthy bearer of the proud name that it's been given. It will sail with us long enough for the children of these young sailors and Marines, perhaps even their grandchildren, to call the Essex their ship. Your service as the Essex first crew must set a standard for every sailor and Marine who will follow. I'm certain it will be a record of outstanding contributions to our nation. Thank you very much. Captain Byrd, would you join me at the podium? In accordance with the authority vested in me by the President of the United States, I hereby place the United States ship Essex in commission. God bless and Godspeed to all who sail in it. Executive Officer, hoist the colors, break the commissioning pennant.
Captain D.C. Carew, United States Navy retired. The last commanding officer of USS Essex, CVS 9, will honor us today by passing the ship's long glass, the traditional symbol of authority in the ship, of the line, to the officer of the deck, Lieutenant Francis Gutierrez. Ship flag. Man our ship and bring her to life.
What a great week. With the support of many individuals such as Mr. Wax, General Godfrey, Admiral Boland, Bob White, and the San Diego Navy League, the Naval Air Station North Island and Public Works, we celebrate the Navy's 217th birthday and Essex joining the U.S. Pacific Fleet. All this and pay too. Mr. Secretary and Mrs. Cheney, if you'll join me at the podium. On behalf of the officers and crew, please accept these gifts as a token of our appreciation. And a ball cap with our mascot, the Gator. Plank owner